So, welcome everybody to Let's Talk with Gwen. We have a guest here today whose name is Jill Humphreys. I'm absolutely delighted that we'll hear from Jill. She's been a great influence on me, so I'm sure she'll have a lot to share and we'll benefit from hearing from her. But first of all, Jill, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My journey really has been one of great discovery and great breakthroughs, which is what's led me to being this breakthrough coach that I am at the moment in time and forever will progress to be, learning and evolving and becoming that student of life. My forte really at an early age was to try and get people to feel comfortable with who they were. And it was something I was trying to be more comfortable with who I was. So it was like a two-way thing. And I tended to have these people that would mirror that for me. And that was a great learning experience. So cut a long story short, I've done my coaching. I worked with Tony Robbins' coaching side of things. I was a holistic practitioner for 10 years until my hands gave out, which then led to the fact that the beautiful people I work with actually said to me, it's not just what you did with your hands, it's what you did with your heart and your head. And I thought to myself, wow, okay. And we were having a discussion about this, at not seeing who we actually are. And I progressed into that, and then I realised that, yes, the breakthroughs and everything that I experienced in my life was something that I needed to enable another person to lean in and do that for themselves. And I was going to be that stand for them while that was processing and happening. So for me, I actually live my purpose every day, which is to help a person have this breakthrough so that they can live an incredible, secure life that they loved. And for me, that is every single day that I wake, that is what I am on this earth for, which progresses me forward to meeting beautiful people like yourself, having a network of people around us that we can each grow and process and live in that space of learning and understanding more. And this is why we're here together. No accident, no coincidence, by the way. This is how it was meant to unfold. So thank you for having me.
And we're really deeply grateful to have people like Jill at this present time, because for many of us, and particularly older women, we're going through quite a shift. It's not like our mother's generation where they will be winding down at this time. And that's not to say that certain people don't choose to do that.
Absolutely.
But a lot of women are actually wanting to start another chapter in their lives. And but just don't know how, and what their purpose is, where to find it, how to go, who to contact. So we really need people like Jill. And so tell me a little bit about when you do encounter somebody who wants change, doesn't know what they've got to offer that they might be able to bring to the table. How would you guide them in that way?
Well, first of all, we've all got unique stories and unique life paths. And a lot of us think that we just have to progress through this life path. And we were talking about rushing to get to the next thing. And I think we miss what characters, what talents, what abilities did we actually get during those times. And I think this is the vital part where I make you not revisit, but reframe. And then I bring out those things that you've obviously omitted to see in yourself and the strengths that you've actually got, because we all have. And I think as a woman, when you get into your mid-50s and on, sometimes we do become invisible because the system says that it's time for us to be the wiser grandmother, the wiser older person, and kind of not so out there. I'm here to tell you that's not going to happen. I'm breaking that break glass. I'm coming out that big time because we have got so much to give as the older generation, the baby boomer side of things, and we have this beautiful way that we can project into the world. Now, as we were discussing before, we had the systems and we had various role models, But we can shift those role models if we dive deeper within ourselves and realise that the younger generation actually still need us.
Absolutely.
Even though they think they don't, by the way. And I've got a 17-year-old, so I'm like, I understand all that. And they do think that they've hit the ground running and they don't need anything. But if we can come into this world and we can learn, we can evolve, we can build different businesses. And the beauty of this now, Gwen, is that we've got this opportunity where we can bring this conversation to the world. And there may be women sitting the other side of the world thinking, you know, that's me. I want to know more about how can I bring more. I don't want to disappear into the background. I need to feel that I can be valuable again. So I think this is why the movement of the female side of things needs to be more integrated, I feel.
And I totally agree, because one of the things we talked about earlier today was that impatience, and I have to say I own that. But also to, much as I feel this impetus to step out into the world, often I step forward and step back again because of self-doubt. So there's a lot in the world that we live in, particularly as women. There's very much about doing. It's about the wounded masculine, which is about forging forward. And we as women are having to learn to sit silently and peacefully in our own knowing, so as that we can take our expertise out into the world in a way that really feeds, nurtures and suits us. How, if a woman came along with all this intention, but also bringing the baggage of self-doubt, which is, and lack of confidence and not feeling they're of value, how would you help them develop in a way that they would have more confidence and more faith and trust in themselves and trust in the divine feminine, which is rising and moving us all forward in a way to support ourselves, but to support our men as well? How would you support those women?
Great question. Let's look at the two words, self and doubt. The self came into this world with none of that. Absolutely none of that.
Yeah.
We were born with everything we ever needed to carry us forward. But like everybody else, we've got systems, peers, inherited beliefs. So along the way, we've become that sponge. And we've encountered memories. We've encountered experiences, and we are cellular memory banks. And when you come to a brand new edge of cliff that you want to jump off, there will be something that's triggered inside you say, don't think I can do this. We don't really know why, because we've got those sanskaras that's deep inside, which are cellular memories, and we act. And we have a mirror on the world from them. But in fact, we don't own any of them. So not to revisit trauma as such, but to go back and reframe the trauma, because the trauma was an experience and an example set, probably by someone else, of how to respond. And we took it as that's how we should be. So this is where the unlearning comes in. So the self is complete. The doubt is just something that's been stuck on, like a label of not being confident, a label of not being worthy, not deserving. And there were cultures, and there are cultures in this world, that a woman is not seen to be that forward strong.
Yes.
And we respect that. We totally respect that. However, I think with the advent of the Western world getting more and more open, and the social media side of things that we've all got access to. I mean, Gwen, who would have thought you and I, all those years ago, would have had a conversation like this?
Absolutely.
And a box is recording this, but where you're going to put this is going to touch someone else.
Let's hope we reach others.
It definitely will, because we have to realise this, that a band of women getting together and being a network for each other, giving that unconditional support with no judgment, is a rarity.
And I'm getting to the point more and more so in my life where I feel it's less about the individual. So often for many of us in the workplace, it's all about setting goals and achieving, competing. But I think we're moving into a new time where there is more this sense of co-creating.
Beautiful.
There's it's not about the individual, it's about what we can do together. And it also takes a lot of pressure off us as women, because we don't have to be all things all the time. We can hand over the baton to someone else, but it also enables them to be able to take up and give of their strengths and gifts as well.
I agree. And I think we fear having to wear these many hats.
Absolutely.
When in fact other people can step forward
Absolutely.
and fulfill that you need. And that can be a beautiful synergy between you. And we are co-creators. That's what we are here for. And in the way that business was run years and years ago, we were kind of isolated, because if you had an idea, you wouldn't share it with me. Right? No. You could not steal my idea, because you go out, you probably make more money from it. We have to unlearn all that now, because we're each individuals and our own DNA. We've each got that beautiful story inside us that only we can tell, so we can reach that other person, so that other person can step forward and flourish.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the exciting part.
Yes. And I think also too, I imagine that not only for women, but for men in the workplace, it's going to unburden them to some degree as well, because there's so much pressure put on men, particularly young men. So we'll finish up with maybe a tip. How do you change your DNA? How do you change that thinking, conditioning, however you want to describe it? What might be a first step for somebody who's saying, I don't feel fulfilled, I want some changes, I don't know what they are, I don't know where to go, I'm not even sure what my passion or purpose is, because there's a lot of talk these days about know your purpose and learn from your passion. But for a lot of people, particularly if they've had very demanding jobs, family commitments, elderly parent commitments, whatever it is,
Absolutely.
that kind of sense of passion and purpose is sort of been drained out of you. So how do you find it again, and how do you make those changes, Jill?
All brilliant questions. And the thing is, there is a unique path, by the way. And even though I'm going to give you tips, you will find that. And I actually feel that your passion finds you eventually.
Love that.
I really do, because I was seeking something that was running after me, but I wasn't listening. Until one day I did sit and listen. But for me, the meditation was very, very important step. Because we live in what we call this outside world, and the outside world will always continue. But it's who are we internally? You and I spoke about when we are visiting others, when we are in circumstances, life happens for us all the time. We lose people, other people come into our lives, there is trauma, there is drama. How can we calm ourselves so that we become more proactive, not reactive to that? And how can we tap into that higher self? I spoke about a time where I'd never experienced that. And then when I did experience that, I realised that co-creation came from me. Every person in my life showed up to illuminate what I felt, what I needed to do myself. We spoke about this in depth before. So I think finding yourself is really, really important, and that is through meditation. That is through disappearing a little while just with yourself and not being afraid of what comes up. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah, and I love that, because I myself turned 60 and suddenly found myself in a place that I didn't recognise, where I felt very defined by my age. That didn't come from an internal place.
Great.
That came from the external world.
That's right.
So I think it is so important not to be defined by the external world, not to be guided only by the external world, but to find what your environment is internally, who you are. And the best way to sit and do that is through meditation, quiet time, nurturing, taking care of, listening to your voices that come from within and your higher guidance, and making that connection, but also setting that intention and calling that in. sending it out, asking, give me the guidance. But it's quite important then to sit and listen to the answer that you're given.
And we spoke about the trust and the self-belief.
This
is massive.
Absolutely.
Where does that trust come from? It has to come from you first.
Yes.
It really has. That's a quest on its own.
Yes.
To find, can I trust myself?
Yes.
And I think that's setting healthy boundaries as well in life. If you're a people pleaser, that's going to be a real challenge to get over that people pleasing, to be seen to be recognised, to be seen to be significant for something. You can be all of these things. Like Tony Robbins talks about the 6 human needs. We can meet them positively or we can meet them negatively. But the last 2 are growth and contribution. If you're contributing to your personal growth, believe it or not, you're contributing to another's.
Absolutely.
Because you will change that energy around you by being that more centred person without the drama. And yes, it takes work and dedication to get there, but it means that your life is no longer pulling you and pushing you. You are purposeful and mindful of what that next step is. And I always ask my question, is what I'm about to say, or what I'm about to do, true to me?
And that's a great question. Always checking in is this for the highest good? Is this for my highest good? I could carry on this conversation forever, but we're going to have to stop it there. We'll maybe have to do a part 2.
I think so.
Because my channel's called Let's Talk. Jill and I could talk for England. Well, could talk for the whole globe, actually. So, Jill, thank you so much. There's so much value. Jill, would it be okay to put your contact details in the post below?
People can find me on Facebook. I would love people if they wanted to reach out and connect with me.
Right.
I'm actually my Facebook profile you can put below.
Right.
And that's where most people find me.
Right. And if you have any questions for Jill, please post them below because I'm in contact with Jill. Or if you have any questions for me, likewise. Would love to hear from you. Would love to hear, particularly in relation to this video today. So thank you, Jill, and thank you everybody for listening. And it's cheerio from me once again. Bye.
Take great care. Thank you. Bye.